Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are going to be doing a large cross dragon camp this video. When I started this, I'm not going to lie, didn't know how long I was going to go for, so I just kind of went until my little legs gave out, and ended up being around 5,000 cross dragons, which took me about 10-12 hours of purely AFKing. And I wanted to do this one because, one, some people asked for it. Thank you for the comments. Really appreciate it. And I got a lot of love on the Rune Dragon video. And you know what? I like doing loot videos. Haven't seen many of them across for our beautiful video game. So I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm going to do it for the cause. Decided to camp some Rune Frost Dragons because Frost Dragons are actually one of the oldest money makers in the game. Originally released about like maybe 11 years ago when Dungeoneering came out. And these guys were tried and true as one of the best moneymakers in the game at the time. And I was not around when that was the magnum opus of money making, but I'm here now, by golly, and I got myself some ruinous crossbows. These are the new tier 90 crossbows, which are actually the best in slot damage for the Frost Dragons, and they're only around like 20 to 30 mil right now, plus give or take maybe a milli in Dungeoneering tokens. But hey, I wanted to sit here at Frost Dragons and see how much money I can make and with these new crossbows. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz. Let's get right into it. So I went into this with Serenic. Okay, main reason why I went in with my elite Serenic was because, one, I paid like $1 billion gold for this, and it's sitting in my bank, taking up literally every single bank slot I own. And I know that crossbows are really good with Serenic. There's no real big reason for me to use the Masterwork armor. It is better damage, but you get a bunch of perks with the Elite Serenic. For example, also don't mind me, I'm just picking up my cannon because I died in the last clip. Each piece you are wearing, you have a chance to proc 3 criminal bolts, which are the enchanted bolts in the game. What it does is that you can get a ruby bolt proc, which deals a percentage of health damage. You can get a onyx bolt proc, which heals you for some damage, and then as well you can get a hydrix bolt proc, which just grants a bunch of adrenaline for your character when you get the chance for it to proc. Now, honestly, I think the Serenic set is really good. I think that if it got some proper love and got some proper balancing, it would be able to be a really good set of armor. Main problem is that crossbows in general are hindered by the bolt tier. If you look at Elder Arrows, they're tier 100. If you look at crossbolts, they go up to tier 90. It just caps at tier 90. So all your damage is limited based on how much damage your bolts deal. So I decided to camp it. I don't really care about the cost to repair them because they're not getting used anyway, so might as well. I also wanted to use Serenic because I was thinking about what average Joe would end up coming to do Frost Dragons. Well, it's probably not some fuck camping like 3 billion worth of gold, like full Masterwork, Bulge of the Last Guardian, and then a shard on top of that. Nobody in their right mind is going to come here and camp Frost Dragons with that kind of gear, because Frost Dragons don't have any chase items. When I say chase items, I'm talking like log items. They don't got like a unique piece of equipment to get. There's nothing on the Slayer collection logs. You're here purely for the grind and some sweet bone. So the only time you're going to be coming here with a lot of gear is if, one, you're like maxing out 19 ults and you're a basement dweller, or you're brand new to PVM and you're just trying to make a decent moneymaker. And I came here with cheap gear because of that. The Ruinous crossbows, each, when I bought them, they're about 50 mil because they count as a dual weapon. So when you buy one warp stone, you can get both sets of crossbows, which is a pretty good deal. And if you're going to be doing Dungeoneering, you're probably going to need 83 Dungeoneering to access the Frost Dragons, and then you're going to be around like 830,000 tokens if you haven't spent any of your tokens. So this is a really good way for anybody who's needing to make some easy cash AFK. This is really reliable. The gear that I went in with was the Elite Serenic, which you can honestly just do this with regular base Serenic, which is like 7-10 mil for a whole set. So you got the crossbows and you got the fucking armor for it. You can come in here with nothing else. No cape, no boots, no gloves. All you need here is determination and some bolts, and you'll be slinging mad DPS beating these guys up. A dwarf cannon helps because it helps with the aggro, but I came in here with pretty relatively low entry gear. I had an Amulet of Souls on, I had my Zuck cape on, I'm using a Wen scripture book, which is relatively cheap as well, and then probably the most expensive thing that I'm using for sustainment here is I'm using Elder Overload Salves, because they count as my overload and they count as my anti-fire potion, because you're going to need them if you're going to be sitting at Frost Dragons because of the Dragon Fire, obviously. Come on, what are you, new here? But I will say the only regret I did have using this was the Dwarf Cannon. Not because of the cannon itself, but the tier of ball that I'm using. I ended up using meteorite cannonballs, and I'll tell you why that ended up biting me in the ass later. But this was the relative setup. There's two sides of the Frost Dragon room. There's an east side and a west side. I chose the east side because I like Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I was there before, and it's on the east side of the room. It's also because I think it has more spawns. I didn't take the time to count. You can go ahead and count them. But I went to the east side of the room because, one, room is a little bit bigger on this side, and I do believe there are more spawns here. And I kept hitting the respawn cap. What that means is I was pretty much killing them so fast that I was just idling around, waiting around for them to spawn when I was fully AFKing. Because I did 15 minutes of this just me sitting here, right? And that's what you're watching right now. I then tried to go to both sides of the room and try and like wipe both sides of the room. And to be honest, I was doing that too. I was getting more bones per hour, but it was way more active. Didn't want to deal with it as much. And the problem that I was running into when I was doing that full active method was when the cannon would begin to aggro the dragons on the other side of the room. Frost dragons have a secret mechanic that make them a little bit more lethal than other dragons in general. Frost dragons will periodically spawn a rotating ball around their body. And what happens with this rotating ball is that it will reflect 80% of the damage you deal back to you. So what that means is if you're hitting like 10,000 damage, brother, you're going to eat a good old 8k to the head. You're not going to be able to eat that to the dome. You're going to die. And that's what happened to me a few times when I kept aggroing these dragons way too much and trying to go to each side of the room. So overall, it was just safer for me to sit on one side of the room, let them respawn, and let them go from there. Doing this with the Ruinous Crossbows and the Serenic set, I got about 290 kills, 300 kills an hour doing this, just on the side. It wasn't that bad. It was actually relatively respectable, and the cost of my overall supplies was, I think, at the time, beating how much it was costing me to actually get the bones themselves. I quite liked this method. It was pretty chill. And the reason why the meteorite crossbows were biting me in the ass was because every single hour I was using about 2,500 meteorite cannonballs. Those meteorite cannonballs cost about like 3k a pop. So I'm out here slinging mad coin every single time I'm trying to kill them. Now, mind you, it does deal about 3,000 damage with the Dwarven Siege Cannon upgrade. So it's almost two-hitting these dragons in general when it gets a good hit. But it does cost a lot more money just for them to pull aggro. I didn't end up testing this with an aggression potion because I think that would have been a better move for me here, because I would have been able to just get the automatic aggression from the dragons rather than needing to use the cannon for the aggro. Do I regret it? Not really. It made it pretty easy, and for me with my stats, 120 range, and being able to just punch everything out with the Ruinous Crossbows, it wasn't that bad. And now AFKing here was pretty easy. Played some other games while doing this. I was watching a movie while doing this. Mad easy. I even edited this video while I was doing it. Only problem when it came to AFKing this was the cannon would jam. Sometimes it would just stop, right? So you just gotta walk over, click the cannon, and then you're back at it. But that would be a reason why I would stop killing them, because again, I'm not using the aggro potions. The cannon is my aggression potion. Now, you might be asking yourself, but Eddie, dude, what about the other loot? You can't be here just for the bones. I am here solely for the bones. There's literally nothing else on this drop table besides like maybe a Lantidine and hopes and dreams. Everything else on this drop table is trash. It's trash. Unless you're an Iron Man or you're insane, there's nothing on this loot table that's worth being excited for besides some icy cold bones on a hot Wednesday afternoon. Nothing else is good on this drop table. I was attempting to pick up like all these other herbs, and you know what, dude? It was garbage. The only reason why I was picking up some of these herbs is because I had a little frost dragon pet with me, because you can actually get all the other dungeoneering pets from the reward shop, and they are now overrides just like the Edimu pet, which is fucking sick. Unfortunate that it wasn't really getting much use because there's nothing on this drop table worth picking up, but hey, at least I got me a small dragon following me around. Oh my gosh, is this a live commentary clip? I think it is. So we are, I think, my third or fourth trip. I can't even remember now. We have about 1,300 frost dragon bones. I think I started around like 7,000 of these meteorite. Don't mind my bank. The interface when in classic just resizes the entire bank. But for my cannonballs, I had meteorite cannonballs. These are like the best in slot cannonballs because they deal an extra 150%. They deal an extra 50% damage on range cannon attacks. which is awesome because it stacks with the Dwarven Siege Cannon. So this is like the best in slot cannon setup you can get. 200% damage here, 150% damage here, 350% total cannon damage added on from the base 100% from if you had a regular cannon. Highly recommend getting these. But anyways, I had 7,000 meteorite cannonballs, and I guess I've burned through all of them. I had like 50,000 before, but when we did the Rune Dragon video, I just ran right through them. So I gotta go pick up a few more, and I need to get. I think I'm just gonna buy 50,000, and if I can use maybe about like another 5,000 of these, if I can make 10 mil, we've broken even. This is the biggest investment I've put into this so far in terms of equipment. So if we can work with that, if we can end up getting a little bit of money from that, that's okay. So that, yeah, it's 1 buy limit, and they bought for 18. Damn, 18 point. Yeah. We'll use a few more. We'll see if we can make the money back. We'll be good. Dude, I cannot lie, man. I was so fucking bored doing this. I was so bored. This was mind-numbing, dude. Like, it was pretty rough. I think I'm like on hour 8. Dude, this is rough. I ended up changing my outfits like 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 times just to try and keep my sanity because I was like so tired of looking at the same armor, doing the same thing over and over, dude. It was rough, man. I don't know. If I wasn't doing this for the love of the game, probably would never do this again, but goddamn, dude. It was kind of rough. But hey, we were getting through it. It was going pretty smoothly. I did realize that Cinderbanes were a horrible move here because these guys are not poisonable. So I was doxing myself on damage for a long time. So I ended up switching over to my Nightmare Gauntlets because I just had them in the bank. And did it really improve the DPS much per hour? Not really. But at least I know they're not poisonable anymore. And you know as well, my friend. Now, for science, I did do 1 trip in the max gear. Now, I am in my Basement Dweller full Masterwork Bulk of the Asgardian Decimation Bow EOF with Dragonbane Arrows build. I did bring out the bunny for this one just to see what it would feel like, how it would end up being if you do notice an improvement using a tier 100 bow versus your tier 100, tier 90 that has a 12% damage boost, which is the Ruinous Crossbow. I did want to see if the damage is different and comparable. Now, I will say that I got 200 kills in 15 minutes. That was with me going between, yes, both sides of the room, and then I got 170 kills on one side of the room within 15 minutes. It was noticeably quicker, because if you're killing them quicker, they're respawning faster. Like, basic boy math. But it was a noticeable difference. I only did this for like the last like 2 hours or so to get my last couple 100 bones, and I will say it was very noticeably different. And if you're gonna come here with it, I do recommend it, but I don't think that if you got that kind of money, you're going to be coming here for Frost Dragons AFK. Unless you just need something to do and you don't want a bank stand. Because instead of bank standing, you could just sit here until you decide what to end up doing. Here we are with 4,985 Frost Dragon bones. This is probably about 10, 15 hours of just sitting out Frost Dragons, just testing to see how the Ruinous Crossbows felt and if it's actually a viable moneymaker. I'm actually pretty surprised with the overall price of these. Have gone down since I started doing this. They were 20k and now they're 18.5. So I'm kind of worried to see how much that would end up getting me in terms of when we do the final price check, which is right now 92.2 mil. Not gonna lie, kind of lower than what I expected. So when you do the math on that, on what is it, 15 hour, so what is that? That's 490.85 divided by 15 hours. That's 333 kills an hour. So the 92.2 divided by 15. That's about 6 mil an hour. Not the greatest. But if you were just unlocking the crossbows and you're trying to make some more money and get some gear, this is enough to get you better Serenic. This is enough to get you Amulet Souls. This is just something that's easy to make a little bit of money with. So overall, not too shabby. We'll take it. And so I wanted to make sure I broke even on the cannonballs. I spent about 15 mil, about 15,000 meteorite cannonballs. That's 30,000. So then when you add this, it's only 59 mil in profit. And not including the overload potions, were about 247k each one. So it just keeps getting lower and lower. But I mean, it is what it is. That's what a science experiment is for, huh? But that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you're going to beat up some frozen ice dragons. I at least recommend you getting some of the dungeoneering pets. They're really cool. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!